Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today is October 31st, 2018, so you know what that means. Happy Halloween! This year I decided to dress up my dog versus myself, and he is dressed as Bowser from Mario Brothers. Bowser is in the franchise as the main arch nemesis, and you know, that's what his name is from. I created the shell, and I didn't really want him to be hindered by having little bands on his legs. So here's his little shell costume. Isn't it adorable? This was made from foam, paint, and glue, and a little bit of determination. From start to finish, this costume took me about 2 hours to create, and that's because this is for a child size. It actually fits me as well, but look how cute it is on my dog. He's such a cute little boy. Yes, he's being such a good boy right now. Yes, he is. Anyways, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for some more awesome cosplay, fashion, and DIY goodness. Maybe every once in a while, I'll put Bowser in the video too. Here, he gets a little treat. So let's get to the tutorial. My items that I needed were these little backpacks from the dollar store. This is actually from Dollar Tree, and of course they're $1. They're very flexible and they're great for children's wear and for adults for a fun night out. Next, I will be using these foam sheets. For the best bang for your buck, make sure you get a packet because we will be using orange and white. And of course, you can use little crafting knives to cut them out. We won't be doing too much hard work, but I opted for scissors. You will be needing paints, mainly white, yellow, and black. So that is what you'll be needing. And just in case I screw up and I run out of foam sheets, I have another packet of foam sheets, which, you know, you don't really need it. So just in case you do screw up, have some backup foam. And of course, to attach everything, we will be using hot glue. I hope you guys have been using hot glue before and you're not hot glue noobs, because this will require a lot of hot glue sticks. Maybe not that many. Maybe not that many. Okay, so let's get to the tutorial. I firstly had to create circles in order to make the cones or the spikes on the backpack. I used a candle holder here as my circular base, and it created too wide of a little cone. So then I went back and I wanted something larger. So I used a pot, and the pot, I realized it was going to make it wider. So I cut the circle in half, and then look at that. I had the perfect size cone for the middle portions of the backpack. And if I wanted it to be a little bit smaller, all I had to do was cut it in half again. And so this will look perfect for the bigger pieces. But for the smaller pieces, like I said, I cut another little piece, and this is the fourth, like 1/4 of a circle. And all I had to do is roll it up and then do the same. So you're going to be needing 2 different sizes of semicircle and a pie piece to create cones. So get out your foam paper, and then you're going to be tracing this out as many times as you need. If you get the same one that I do, I needed 4 big, large cones, and then I needed 6 smaller cones. Like I said, I used the bottom of a pot to create the semicircle, and it worked great. Now, trace out your patterns as much as you can on one piece of foam. Obviously, try to work your way in on the little lines so you don't have to cut straight lines. And make sure that you use as much as possible. Foam isn't like paper or fabric. It is thicker and it is so much easier to work with. So continue working until you're done and then cut it all out. I actually had to use 2 pieces of foam. Here, I decided to use scissors instead of the box cutters. I don't have a cutting mat, so yeah, scissors it was. Now, take out your orange pieces and cut out a strip about 1.5 inches thick. This is very important because this will go around your spikes on the backpack. For this, I actually used 1 whole sheet of orange. Now for the cones, I'm actually going to be using a larger one, and I'm going to bend it in first. So I bent half of it inside itself, and then I'm going to be gluing on top of it. And I'm working at the bottom to the top, because the top, you might accidentally burn yourself, and that happened to me several times. So slowly work your way to the top, and make sure you have glue sticks, and glue it down and push it into itself. Make sure that if you have any residue poking out, just pull it off while it's still malleable, and then you should have one brand new cone ready. If the top isn't closed, make sure that you push it a little bit more, that way you get a full closure. Now working with the smaller ones are a little bit harder. So take your time when doing the smaller one. I tried just doing it straight without folding it first, and I accidentally burned myself like a few times at the top. And honestly, take your time, fold and curl it first, and then add your hot glue. Learn from my mistakes. And repeat this method until you have all your spikes completed. Now we're going to be taking out the orange strip, and we're going to add a little bit of hot glue at the top, and then we're going to fold the top down onto itself. Reason is we want a nice thick layer on top of our cones for the backpack. This is what it's going to look like. You're going to need a few of them, and just take your time. I didn't burn myself on this a lot, but it's possible. And don't worry about those little bubble pieces. It's going to get hidden when you attach it to the cones on the backpack. So now grab one of your spike cones and add a little bit of hot glue at the bottom of the cone, enough to secure it to the strap piece. Work your way from the strap, making sure that the top bent part is at the top part of the cone and not the bottom. That way you get a nice clean edge when it goes against it. And then slowly work your way around the cone with hot glue and the strap attaching it to it. Once you get to the edge, make sure that you have a tiny amount of scrap left, and then cut it off. This way that it lines up correctly where it ends, and just add the rest of the hot glue to your cone and then press it into place. Here you can see that I cut the right amount off, and that way it is very nice and clean finished. And now just repeat this for all the rest of your cones. Now to attach our cones, we're going to add a generous amount of hot glue to the underside of the bottom of the cone onto both the orange and the white parts, and make sure you put a lot, because we're going to use the power of gravity on this one, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just going to go all the way around and then set it on top of the backpack and press it very hard until it sticks. And then it is now firmly attached. So do that with all the rest of your cones. Hooray! With the power of editing, I'm going to fast forward this to me being done. This is literally the last little cone piece, and I just wanted to show you up close and personal how wonderful this looks and why it was important to bend the little part into itself. And this is what the backpack looks like. So, last part, we're going to add the glue again and then stick it on. And I hope you guys are ready to paint, because it's not that hard. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level, we're starting the paint. I'm using white, and I'm going to be painting the outer rim white completely. So let's get that done faster with editing. I mean, all you have to do is really just paint it white. So let's go. Now I'm taking out some black acrylic paint and just mixing it with the white while the white is drying. And I'm going to be making gray. Why? Because we're going to add a little bit of accent details onto the shell, and we're just going to paint where the lines actually are. So the turtle shell already has lines, but you can see here I'm only accenting the parts that are supposed to be deviated. This way it's not flat, and it will just look so much better. So get out another paintbrush and add a little bit of black to it, and go and around Yeah, I'm babbling. Okay, yeah, just do it. I painted a little bit too heavy on these pieces here, but that's all right. Next, I'm going to be taking the leftover gray paint and I'm going to go inside the shell marks. I don't know what those are called, the shell divots. And I'm just going to be adding gray paint. We don't want it to be stark contrast on it. I know this is like a video game character, but it looks a lot better if you just do a little, and it goes a long way. So just drag a little bit of a dry brush onto it, go through the lines, and look at that. It just pops and gives it so much more detail automatically without being too stark. Last but not least, I'm using yellow acrylic paint, and I'm going to be using this onto the cones itself. You're probably thinking, why didn't I just use yellow for the cones to begin with? And that's because I didn't want them to be bright, boring yellow. I wanted it to have kind of a bone look. As you saw, I dropped a little bit of extra white in it just to thin out the yellow so it's not so bright and like repulsive. And I'm just going to lightly brush this onto the cones, and that way it gives a little bit more dimension and it gives stark contrast. Go ahead and repeat this on all the cones and wait for the paint to dry. Once your paint is dry, your backpack is ready to be worn. Isn't Bowser ferocious? He stands in his castle all day plotting evil things. But no, seriously, look how cute my dog is. I really hope you enjoyed this transformation of this $1 turtle backpack, lack of better words. If you enjoyed it, make sure you click that like button, comment down below how cute my dog is, subscribe if you haven't already because it's Halloween and you know you want to. So thanks, and I will see you all later. Have a safe one, and make sure to eat that candy corn. Stay inspired and have fun.
Who's a beautiful dog? Who's a handsome little Bowser? Are you gonna go capture a princess today? You gonna go capture a princess today? You want your treat? Speak. Speak. Louder. Speak. Good boy. You get a treat. And the Bowser.